Hi guys and welcome back. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make a chocolate pumpkin pie and a chocolate short crust pastry. Let's begin. So just before we get into today's video, I wanted to say a massive thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Clicking the notification bell, then you'll be notified whenever I upload. To start the pastry, you'll want to get your food processor. If you haven't got one, feel free to do this by hand as you can. Into your bowl or food processor, place in your dry ingredients, which is the flour, the cocoa powder, some salt and the butter, and then set this aside just for a couple of minutes until we need it. So get yourself a small bowl and add in the sugar and the egg, and then whisk the two together until the granulated sugar has dissolved in the egg. This doesn't take very long, so just make sure that it's fully dissolved before you add it in. So once you've placed the lid onto your food processor, you can then start pulsing or mixing it on the very lowest speed until it starts to come together. There should be no traces of a single ingredient, and once it's come together you will notice that it's one solid colour, which is similar to this what I've got, but don't worry if it's slightly lighter or slightly darker, it's not an issue. So once you've achieved a sandy consistency, you can then add in the egg and sugar mixture we prepared earlier on. And don't forget to add in around a teaspoon of vanilla. I found that this really does help enhance the flavour of the crust and does complement the flavour of the filling. And then you'll want to pulse that or mix it on the lowest speed again just until the dough starts to form, being careful not to overmix at this stage. So once you've got your dough formed, you will then want to flour your surface pretty well using just some plain flour, and then empty out the contents of the food processor onto that and just knead it and work it together until it's smooth. And then you'll want to wrap it in some cling film and set it in the fridge for around half an hour to an hour. An hour is the preferable time, but feel free to work with whatever time you've got. And if you want to make this dough ahead of time, feel free to. You can make it 1 or 2 days before you actually intend on using it. So once your dough has had an hour in the fridge, you can then take it out and then roll it out. Make sure that the surface you're using is well floured, as well as your rolling pin. This just prevents the dough from sticking and tearing, which is annoying, and if it happens, don't worry, just re-knead your dough together and roll it out. Just make sure that you roll your dough slightly bigger than you need it. So then you can put your pastry over the tin, tray, dish, whichever you call it, and then trim away the excess, pressing down and making sure that you've got enough dough to go on the bottom and the sides. Just before you throw those scraps away, re-knead them together and then roll them out, just until they're slightly thinner than the actual pastry. And then you'll want to use this dough for your cutout, which I'm putting around the edge, but feel free to miss this stage out. So I got these cutters off eBay. There was a pack of 4 for I think around $2.99, which wasn't very much at all. I will leave a link to that in the description down below if you are interested in buying these. So while you are doing these cutouts, make sure that you've placed your unbaked pastry into the fridge just to chill while we do this bit. So once you've got your unbaked pastry case and your cutouts, you can then get an egg, crack it into a small bowl and just beat it. This is your egg wash. Make sure that you give the unbaked pastry case a good coating of this. So to put the leaves on the edge, all you do is put it on and then press it down using a fork to secure it in place on one of the leaves, and then cover up that leaf with another one from another one, and then it should look like how I'm doing it in the video. Didn't describe that the best. Watch the video and you'll know what I'm on about. So once you've got all the leaves around the edge, you can then give the leaves and the pie crust one final coat of the egg wash. So now that your pie crust is done, go and place that into the fridge to firm up while we make the pumpkin pie filling. Don't forget to dot the bottom of your pastry using a fork. This is just poking holes into the bottom so it doesn't rise up while baking. So the pumpkin pie filling is one of the easiest and most straightforward to make. All you need to do is get yourself a large bowl and then place in all of the ingredients. That's the light brown sugar, the pumpkin, the egg, cocoa powder and spices. So once you've got all of your ingredients into the bowl, you will then want to whisk it all together, getting it all combined as best as you possibly can until it's one solid, consistent colour. There should be no trace of a single ingredient. If there is, carry on mixing until it's fully incorporated. And once you are done whisking the ingredients together, you can then give your bowl a scrape down just to incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. And once you've done that, you can then add in the evaporated milk. And then again whisk it in just until combined. So once the evaporated milk is fully incorporated, you will notice that it does change the consistency of the filling, but don't worry, this is normal, and once it's baked it will look and taste absolutely fine. So once your filling is made, you can then take your pie crust out of the fridge and then give it one final coat of egg wash. So once you've got your coating of egg wash done, you will then want to pour in the filling and then place this into the oven and allow it to bake. I will leave all that information over on my website. There'll be a link to that in the description down below, so check it out if you are interested in making this recipe. So here is what the pumpkin pie looks like once it's fully done. It's baked, it's fully cooled, and I've cut myself a slice and I've decided to finish it with some whipped cream and just a dusting of the pumpkin pie spice. If you're interested in making pumpkin pie spice, I will leave a link to that in the description down below. And then you can try it. Let me tell you, it's a great alternative to the traditional pumpkin pie, especially if you're not a massive fan of pumpkin pie. You get the taste, but you also get the chocolate. So any chocolate lovers out there, this should satisfy your chocolate pumpkin pie needs. But that's all for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more from me. I'll be back next week with another video. So if you have any suggestions for future videos, leave them in the comments down below or message me on one of my social medias. I will leave all the links down below. Follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes sneak peeks whenever I post up on my stories. And yeah, that's all for this week. Bye guys.